Hello, friends. Today we will be looking at the shocking acquittal of Bishop Franco Mutakkal, Bishop of Jalandhar Diocese. This Bishop Franco was accused by a nun, a sister superior, of the Missionaries of Jesus convent located in Kerala. The nun had accused the bishop of raping her 13 times between 2014 and 2016. It's a very high profile case. 39 witnesses deposed in the case and none turned hostile. But despite that, the acquittal of Bishop Franco was like a shocking news for everyone who heard it. Everyone was expecting the bishop to get convicted in this case. I will just like to bring out some of the salient features of this particular case. This case was filed on 27th of June 2018, but the bishop wasn't arrested immediately. Then the 5 nuns from the same convent where the victim is from, she was actually the sister superior there, they came out in support and they came on the streets, protested, and a lot of other people from Kerala also joined in this protest where they were having a public protest. So finally, the bishop was arrested in September 2018. But though he was arrested on 21st of September, the bishop got bail on 15th of October, less than a month later. And since then, he's been out on bail. Let us look at what eminent lawyer and women activist Flavia Agnes has to say about this judgment. Also, what has come into question is the role of the church. Pope Francis has brought in a lot of changes to ensure that sexual abuse of minors and vulnerable adults stops by the clergy, by priests. But as far as the Catholic Church in India is concerned, these changes are not reflecting on the ground. So we will also look at that aspect. Welcome, Flavia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you tell us what were your reactions when you heard Bishop Franco has been acquitted by the court?
It was absolutely shocking because I've been very closely following the case and what's happening in the courts on a day-to-day basis. And one of my ex-colleague was one of the advocates for the team, Sandhya Raju. And so she used to give me all the information. And there were 39 witnesses and none had turned hostile. And everybody deposed as per their statement, which is a very important factor. So and they said we got a very good case. The police also said they got a very good case. So it came as an absolute shock. Now, the only option is to go on appeal as far as the judiciary is concerned. But there are other issues that we need to look at, particularly the church authorities and their power in the state of Kerala. And when such abuse is brought to light, what should be the attitude of the church hierarchy? What should be the role of the people in charge? How do they see the victim, survivor? To what extent she's believed? What extent she receives support? All these are very important issues which are not judicial but very important to Christian women.
Do you think this will impact how other rape survivors come forward, and how will this impact going forward? What impact can this judgment have?
The survivor herself, her helpers, other women, all of them have gone into a shell, and that is the most negative aspect of this judgment.
There was so much of celebration and garlands, and as if he had won some major war or victory. How would you react to that? It kind of, for me as a Christian woman also, it actually is extremely disheartening to see this kind of reaction. There's no, as if they have won some major war against some evil, and there is no sense of shame or anything.
Not at all. Bishop Franco Mulakkal, the rape accused in this case, has a huge following, both in Jalandhar, where he's the bishop, and also in Kerala. So what you saw on TV screens when he came out is all his followers waiting for him with garlands and sweets and etc., welcoming him. And you are absolutely right that he was welcomed as a great hero who has won some war and come out victorious, etc. And that is very sad because the There are supporters for the nun as well, but they're very small in number. The nun has never come out. She's totally closeted. She's very scared for her life, and she was not in the court. Her companion nuns were also not in the court, and only her team of lawyers was there. So that you didn't see any support for the victim at all, and you only saw the followers and supporters of Bishop Mulakkal, and that's very sad. What I want to say about the judgment is two things. The judgment violates all the legal principles. One is the interpretation of rape. After the 2013 amendment, the definition was expanded, and it was not, rape was not just peno-vaginal penetration, but also penetration of any sort, whether it is oral, whether it is anal, etc., would constitute a rape. And then also the sexual acts that making the victim do certain sexual acts, etc., inserting the penis in her mouth, all these would constitute rape under the amended rape law. But the judge seemed to have is not abreast with these changes, and he has gone into a very patriarchal, archaic definition, and has said that she did not meet that standard. She has not clearly said there was rape or peno-vaginal penetration, which is not required at all. Every act she has described amounts to rape, actually, under the new definition of Section 375 IPC. He didn't seem to have paid any attention to that. And the other major flaw, as I see it, is that in 2002, we had an amendment to the Evidence Act, and the woman's past sexual history cannot be used as in the defense of the accused. Now, here he refers to some letter written by her own cousin accusing the survivor of having an illicit relationship with her own husband. Now, in this case, what is interesting, the one who has written the letter, the woman herself comes to court and she says, I said lies in this letter, and I am withdrawing that letter, and I'm withdrawing these allegations because they were false. After she is deposed, still the judge goes to the letter and relies a lot of material from there to discredit the victim and to project her as a woman of easy worth, so that public will think, oh my God, what kind of a nun she is. Already she's having an affair, she's doing all these kind of things. Now, he's not allowed to do this, number one. Secondly, the evidence is totally fabricated. When the person herself says this is lies and I filed a false, this letter is false, and yet he relies on it. So it's not just going of a past sexual history, but also it is a fabricated sexual history. There's no basis for this. So he cannot rely upon it at all, and yet the judge comes to the conclusion that because of her own, to cover up her own illicit relationship with her cousin's husband, she, which is being investigated by the bishop himself, she filed this false case. But the interesting fact here is she has been mentioning incidents since 2014, much before that letter. The letter surfaces only in 2016. So how could this be a retaliatory measure? I mean, it's pure and simple logic. You don't have to be a lawyer to understand this. Very simple. So how can he say that it was a retaliatory move on her part to discredit the bishop? So this is, according to me, also a greatly flawed logic. And the third part I want to say, a lot of humiliating things are discussed about her anatomy. Her breast, her vagina, her hymen, all of it. Which is no relevance except maybe the state of her hymen, but nothing else is relevant. The breasts don't come into the picture at all in any argument. So why does the judge go elaborately into the status of her breasts? It only discredits her. It only humiliates her. And this judgment is in public domain. Anyone can read. Imagine what it does to a nun who is under a vow of chastity, who is not used to like sexual intercourse as a normal thing. And to read about her own body parts in this manner in a public judgment, I think that is the most humiliating thing about this judgment.
Please also share our videos, help us to spread awareness about sexual crime. Please subscribe to our channel and do press the bell icon. Thank you.